Welcome to Brain Wellness, the podcast. I'm your host, Mandy NP. What started as all things related to brain health and wellness has morphed into largely brain injury health and wellness, with occasional other neurological topics. My mission remains the same, to help you on the path to a healthier brain. So, without further ado, let's get into the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Brain Wellness, the podcast. My guest today is Kelsey Boyer. Kelsey is a brain health advocate, former professional snowboarder, and the founder and executive director of Save a Brain, a nonprofit dedicated to concussion and traumatic brain injury prevention, education, and awareness. After a traumatic brain injury ended her professional snowboarding career, Kelsey made it her mission to help others better understand, protect, and care for their brains. Today, she speaks around the country, develops educational programs for schools and communities, partners with healthcare organizations and brands to expand brain injury awareness, and creates resources that make brain health more accessible to people of all ages. Through Save a Brain, Kelsey has helped donate thousands of helmets, reached hundreds of thousands of people through education and advocacy, and continues to build a movement that empowers people to prioritize brain health before and after injury. Her mission is simple: to help create a world where brain health is valued just as much as physical health, because we only get one brain and it makes us who we are. I'm so excited to have you here today, Kelsey. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. What a good way to start a Monday.
I know, right? Woohoo! I love that you say that we only get one brain, because I tell people that all the time. I'm like, nobody's really figured out how to do the brain transplant thing yet successfully. So we get one.
I mean, seriously, it's like, I think about it all the time. I'm like, all the medical advancements and technology advancements, and we can't figure, I'm like, I mean, that just shows how complicated and intricate the brain actually is. So I feel like it makes our case stronger to be like, no, we like actually only get one brain. We can't figure it out. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah. It's not like orthopedics, you blow out your knee and you get a new one. I did read an article like years ago that Russia tried it and it was not successful. So let's not repeat that.
No, it is such a intricate, delicate organ in our body. And the more I feel like we can help people understand that, the better society will be.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. So I kind of gave a spoiler in the bio about how you got to where you are, who you are, but can you tell a little bit more about your story? What got you to doing what you're doing now?
I'm always like, okay, the cliff notes. Let me take all of it, crush it into a few sentences. So essentially, I fell in love with snowboarding at a young age and just decided I wanted to put all my eggs in that basket and go to the Olympics for slopestyle snowboarding. So I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast and was going to pursue that. It was my whole life. And in an Olympic qualifying year, I had too many head injuries in a short amount of time. Like in a 2-month period, I probably had 8 head hits, and one of them was a knockout. And I just kept going because I had to stack points. And I wasn't aware of what I was putting my brain through. And one of the falls in particular led to a brain bleed that went undiagnosed for 2 weeks. And I was still snowboarding, driving, all of the things, and I wasn't aware. And luckily, my friends recognized that I was not myself and rushed me into the emergency room. And even then, the doctor said, "You seem fine, but we'll take a CAT scan just in case." And she came back and just said, "Your brain has shifted 11 millimeters. You would not have survived another night, and you are on your way for emergency brain surgery."
Oh my God.
So essentially that where my life changed forever, and my recovery was very unknown and dark and lonely, and we're not given resources for brain injuries, especially recovery, because every brain injury is like a fingerprint. It's so different that what works for somebody else might not work for you. So I felt very isolated in recovery and thought my life was over. And after 4 years of suffering, I finally found brain treatment that helped me, and it changed my life forever. And I just was like, you know what? This is the number one injury in the world. We all have a brain. It's what makes us who we are. And why are we not learning about this? Like, even as an athlete, I was very uneducated because you're just not being educated about that in the school system and anything. And I just decided, let's shake shit up and be that safe space for people to come to learn. So I started Save a Brain and had no experience running a nonprofit, but it's been super rewarding.
Awesome. Here you are rocking it. My
Yeah.
gosh, 11 millimeters. I'm still stuck on that. Like, I did hospital care for so many years and
Mhm.
just seeing all the images as they came through, and it does kinda strike me that we always have this little kind of algorithm now when they use in the emergency rooms to decide if somebody needs an image or not, and if people look fine and there's not a high likelihood that there's a bleed, they aren't getting imaging done. So
Yeah.
now it's making me question, like, wow, how many of these potential bleeds are we missing?
It's it's wild. I mean, you hear about it all the time too of just somebody going on. I feel like there was that actress from Parent Trap that hit
Mm,
her head skiing and went undiagnosed with a brain bleed and ended up passing away in her sleep. And it's definitely more common than we would like to think
mm,
because again, like we're not given the tools and the education and the resources to learn about it. And when I look back on the 2 weeks. Like, yes, I don't remember everything, it's a little fuzzy, but I remember having mood swings. I was taking over 1,000 milligrams of IB or of Tylenol because my head hurt so bad. I had ringing in my ears, it hurt to move my eyes, I wasn't sleeping, and it's just like, the more I look back on that, I'm like, if only I knew what a brain injury entailed because I had no idea.
yeah, yeah. It's still funny to think too that here we are in 2026 and people still don't know all the symptoms of brain injury. So I talk about it till I'm blue in the face all the time because
Yeah, I
people just
bet.
don't know. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you had some resources that you had early on, and it was a long time before you found some other things. What'd you do early on that helped you? Or maybe it didn't even help you?
I feel like my first 4 years, I just suffered. Like, I wasn't sleeping, it hurt to move my eyes, I was still having mood swings, I was depressed. Like, I feel like I was just in a very bad place, and I just thought that was my new normal, which was really hard, and then I just decided, "You know what? Like, this is not it for me. I am bigger than my brain injury, like, what there has to be something out there." So I started just Googling
Mm,
anything that I could find. And a former professional snowboarder was like, I actually went to this brain clinic in Provo, Utah called Cognitive FX. You should go. And it was like $10,000, like so much money, but I ended up getting a grant for it through another nonprofit and going to the treatment facility and had a functional MRI done. And yeah, all of the symptoms were showing in that scan, but they were like, "We can help you here. Like, that's what
mhm.
we're here for." And I learned so much in that brain boot camp. It was a week long. And then, months after of doing work at home, but I just really learned through them that your brain is capable of healing if you just give it the right tools to do so. So I feel like I took matters into my own hands because I was like, this is not it. I am
Yeah,
suffering. I want better for myself,
yeah.
which is hard because that is the reality, I feel like, is being an advocate for yourself.
Yeah. So in those first 4 years, did anybody send you to, like, PT, OT, try to
No.
treat your head? Seriously? And you were in Utah
Y
the whole time? Like,
I
that's ski area, ski heaven, so you would think that they would have some idea.
Yeah. I think it was just, like, me also not knowing what was out there for me, like, I didn't know that I should just be seeking a concussion specialist, and a lot of people just do go to their primary care and don't get necessarily the exact support that is needed because that's not their
Yeah,
specialty, and
yeah.
yeah, like, a lot of people just don't know that all of these other specialists are out there in the world specifically for brain injuries.
Mm.
So,
I think I need to get in front of some primary care providers.
I mean, the more I do the work with Save a Brain, it's just like it makes me sad because I know these doctors do care, but again, it's just not their specialty. So a lot of symptoms and stuff go undiagnosed or get brushed under the table or get
Yeah.
diagnosed as something else. And if you just don't know or advocate for yourself, then it's just a vicious cycle.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, and the one thing I talk to my patients about all the time now, because all I do now is concussion care. So I
Heck
did a little
yeah.
bit of everything prior to,
I
and
need
now
I
it's
needed you.
yeah. Right? Yeah. So that is all I do day in and day out. Yes, it does get a little confusing sometimes when I see concussion after concussion after concussion. I'm like, "Have we talked
Mhm.
about this yet?" Because I can't remember
Yeah.
because I've talked about it so many times. But the one thing I always tell them too is that you shouldn't have to ask for things. Somebody should be there to help you with it. But now I forget where I was going with that because I got so much.
I feel like there's so much.
There's so much that I could talk about with it, but it's this huge conversation every time but somebody comes in because there
Yeah.
are so many different treatments that we can do,
Yes.
and not everybody knows about it. Providers, patients, you name it, but it shouldn't be you, the patient, that has to go look for all of those things. There should be
Yeah.
somebody that has at least knowledge of where they need to send you.
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely a big gap in the system, and I learned that through me personally, and then again, the more we get our hands into the work of Save a Brain, it's so common that people just have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I learned most of what I do now through being a patient because school only taught me just the tip of the iceberg. And
Yes.
it was like the red flag things to watch for. And
Mhm.
beyond that, tell people to stay in the dark and quiet and rest until your symptoms go away. Well, now we know that half of everybody has symptoms well beyond a year. So no, we don't want them sitting in the dark forever because then it's going to take longer to come back out of the dark again. But
Yeah.
people are still
It's
being
a
told these things.
it's a whole thing. I mean, it's I every time I feel like I just learn more and more, it just really shows me how delicate the brain is because the fact that, yeah, we can create AI, but we can't figure out the brain yet. I
Yeah.
I'm like, this thing is a beast of an organ in us.
Yeah, yeah. Years ago, we called it the final frontier, and it still is. Like, nobody knows exactly what goes on with it because no 2
Yes.
brains are the same.
Mhm. Which is, like, terrifying, but also really cool at the same time because, again, I feel like even in my brain treatment, there was somebody in the facility with me who was getting help after a 17-year
Yeah.
of like 17 years of suffering, essentially, and that was really cool for me to see because I was like, "Wow, the brain is so capable of healing and growing stronger just like muscles, but we have no idea that that is a thing," and it was really inspiring for me to see them after 17 years improving,
Mhm,
and I was like, "Wow,
mhm.
this is pretty magical."
Yeah, yeah. It's a good and bad thing. There's no end
Mhm,
of the brain healing, which you never want it to take as long as it could take to heal, but to know that there is no end and you still can
mhm.
get better even
Yeah,
decades later, like, it's really cool.
yeah,
Really cool.
yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, yeah. I still can't believe you got nothing for those first 4 years. Oh my gosh.
It
So, how long did it take you to start seeing improvements once you did go through the cognitive FX program?
Pretty quick, which
Mhm,
is what was wild for me was like I've been chronically suffering for 4 years, and the fact that even after a month I saw improvement, it gave me so much hope because I was in a very bad place, like, I just lost, like, my dream, my
mhm,
career, like, everything all at once, and I was just trying to understand what my new normal was looking like, and I didn't like it, like, there was so much wrapped in it, but yeah, I feel like a month after even after, like, the week, like, you could just feel your brain rewiring when it was given the correct tools, so
mhm.
pretty immediate.
That's awesome. I've heard about their program, but I haven't talked to anybody who's gone through it yet, so it's
Oh,
kinda cool
they're
hearing the testimonial.
They're the best. Like, yeah, I feel like looking into them and just partnering with them to do better. Like, yeah, they just have such a good team and system, and I've never felt more heard. Like, I needed them in that moment. Like, I was
Mhm.
just like so scared. And once I found them, I was just like, okay, I can like breathe again.
Are there any things you still struggle with?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people like to the eye are like, look, she's fine. She's healed. And I'm just like, yeah, like, I've come so far, like, it's been 10 years since my brain surgery, and I feel like I struggle like, sleeping is still if I don't prioritize a good
Mhm,
sleep or, like, sleep hygiene, I guess, like, go to try to no screens and go to bed early and all of those things, like, my brain is just very sensitive. I get migraines. I'm trying to think, like, the head pain because of the scar on my head is always there, which is annoying for me sometimes, and I would say the biggest one that I've dealt with is the PTSD of it, like, the emotional toll of it
mhm.
has just taken me years to unwrap, and I still live with it today where it's like I still love snowboarding and action sports, and I'm very like, moving meditation is my thing, but always in the back of the mind like, my mind, I'm like, "Don't fall,
Mm.
don't hit your head," and I probably do hit my head, like, once a season, and I try to do my best. Like I wear a mouth guard, butt pads, helmet, but you can't accidents happen. You can't plan for everything. And yeah, I feel like just the emotional toll that it has on me is my biggest struggle now.
Yeah, I think the mental health piece is the biggest thing. The top 3, I guess, things I see all the time is headaches, cognitive issues, and the mental health piece.
Hmm.
Those are probably not my top 3 that I see with people as
Yeah.
struggles, and that mental health piece is so huge. I've talked about it multiple times on my show here. It's like when you have PTSD and a TBI at the same time, they're like fire and gasoline.
Whew.
They
That's a
just
good way to put it.
add to each other. I heard it in a country song and I stole it, and I've been using it ever since,
As you
'cause it
should.
because it totally works. It is absolutely 100% true with TBI and PTSD, and they just make each other so much worse, so you
Yeah.
have to treat both at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, which again, like, I don't think I ever heard anything about it. Like, a lot of people don't talk about the PTSD of it. Like, the more I talk about it personally, the more people reach out and are like, I struggle with this so badly. I'm so glad this is normal because a lot of people just like don't speak of it.
Yeah.
And for me, I've been like, no, my like brain injury has been my biggest teacher. Like, if I'm stressed, I get a migraine. If I don't get enough sleep, I get a migraine. I had to make a lot of lifestyle changes. Like, I don't drink alcohol. I had to cut out caffeine for a while, but now I drink coffee because the taste is so good for me. And and yeah, like, it's like I had to, like, totally change my diet, so it's like I've decided to make a lot of lifestyle changes because I felt like I had to in order to live a
Yeah.
fulfilled life is what it felt like, is like I had to make these lifestyle changes
Yeah.
in order to have a life moving forward, but it's very hard for people to accept and do.
100%. I had PTSD from the car accident that caused my injury.
Mm,
And I did this thing called EMDR. In 3 months, I was no longer having panic attacks in the car. It
whoa.
was amazing. Like, I would
Yeah.
freak out if an emergency vehicle just drove by me without even having their lights on. Like, I was a
Whoa.
hot mess in the car. So, no longer a hot mess. I can get in the car, I can see, I can drive by an accident and I maybe get a little flutter, but it's not like, oh,
Mhm.
it's not like I'm back in that moment again. So,
Yeah.
it's remarkable once you get past that level.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and it's like you're saying, it's taken work. Like, you have
Yeah,
to choose
yeah.
to face it, to accept it, to put in the work, which I think is the hardest part for people, is to be like, "This is happening." Because sometimes I feel like with brain injuries, it's like playing tricks on yourself. Like, I
Mhm.
would tell people, like, in my first couple of years after my brain surgery, when I was snowboarding, I could lightly fall on my butt. I wouldn't even hit my head. Like, it would just be like a slip out, and I had such bad PTSD, I could convince myself I was having head pain, and it was really bad, and that's when I was like, "Whoa, this there's something going on that it is more powerful and capable of things than we like to think." So it's like you just feel almost like gaslit by your brain injury. You like It's like the weirdest like dance, like you're just like, "Am I making it up or am I actually feeling this?"
Yeah. 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 On the flip side, once you've had a number of concussions, it is easier to get one. So it doesn't have to take as big of a hit. You don't have to hit your head to get a concussion. So
Yeah.
that all of that goes into play and could it be another concussion or is it just me gaslighting myself? It could be
Yes.
either one at that point. Yeah.
It's a whole thing, so it's like it's also consuming and exhausting if you let it. Like, there's so many layers of a brain injury that I've learned that I'm like, you feel every emotion, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and try to, like, it's like it has been my biggest teacher,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Same. And
Yeah.
and this is what I do for a living. So yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts, and I just, like, feel so deeply for people, and, like, that was why I, like, created Save a Brain, because I was just like, "I don't want anybody to suffer like I suffered." Like, that was so
Yeah.
brutal, and there's so much more out there, and if I can help people not feel so alone in that, like, maybe we could actually save a brain here.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's
that
novel idea. Yeah. So let's for our listeners, tell us about Save a Brain. What is it?
So it is a nonprofit. We focus on prevention and education of traumatic brain injuries and concussions. So obviously it's a big void to fill as we're talking about in this space. So we've done a lot of work. We've created a concussion cookbook for people. We've implemented helmet checks at elite contests for the athletes so they can compete at a high level safely. We have donated over 4,000 helmets so far to children in need. And we have like an education workshop for people. So it's like we've really tried to combat and fill the void. I also started a podcast called the Saver Brain Headquarters to, again, just like give people this information, because all of our programming essentially really focuses on this, is that when you Google about the brain, it's like the scariest thing you'll ever do. And we want to help clear that up for people and give them the resources that they need so it's not as scary. So that's essentially like everything that we do is just creating that safe space for people to come learn. So we focus on a lot of different things. But yeah, I would say our cream of the crop is the helmets for kids, which is my favorite program, and then just educating teams and schools and parents about the brain.
I love that you do that. I was just at a book fair this past weekend because I put out my newest book on concussion, and right, super cool. And I had this little girl stop at my table, and she was a Girl Scout doing a project on concussions and it needed to know a little bit more information. She wanted to know where she could find resources. I wish I would have known about you before then, because I didn't look, I'll be honest, I didn't do my homework this time and look up what Save a Brain was before we
Yeah.
talked. I wish I would have, because I would have given her your site as well, because she's looking for how to get a little bit more education out there for the younger athletes, because
Cute.
she's a little kid, she's playing hockey, and nobody really talks about concussion at her age.
My heart. I
Mm.
mean, that gives me also so much hope for the future, so I love that she's doing that. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and so we just try to really specialize in making it easier for people, even for, like, caregivers. Like, you're not prepared or given resources either to help support somebody recovering, so we're just like, "Okay, the more we can just put this in layman's terms, you give people the power to move forward and to make the decision." And even just like with helmet safety, we're like, okay, not everybody wears a helmet. Let's just give them the information, because it's not if, but when someone hits their head. So we're like, as long as we can be that place for them, that's what's important to us.
Yeah, because we have never really been good at diagnosing concussion, clearly. I even my car accident was 3 years ago, and I went to a level 1 trauma facility, and they didn't tell me I had a concussion. Like, they said I
Whoa.
had some soft tissue injuries and sent me home, follow up with your primary, and over the next couple days, that's when all of my symptoms developed, but I don't even remember much of that ER visit, so the memory
Wow.
loss hit right away. But even knowing that you can go to a level 1 trauma facility anywhere in the United States, even in a big ski facility, and not
Yeah.
really get diagnosed or told, "Oh, you look all right," and just kind of move on. Like, we've never really been good at diagnosing that, and we don't talk about the fact that you don't have to hit your head, you don't have to lose consciousness,
Mhm.
but that there can be significant consequences. People don't think about it. I have
No.
patients come in and see me, and they've been having issues with memory and
Mhm.
concentration, and they get diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety and all of these things, and then we sit down and talk, and I say, "Well, when did these things start?" "About 10 years ago." "Well, what
Oh.
happened 10 years ago?" "Oh, I fell off my horse, but I was fine." Like, "Were you really? Because now
Yeah.
you have all of this stuff going on." Like, you
Mhm.
have these things and you haven't been diagnosed, and there's so much education that that we can do, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Good thing we're doing it.
Yes. Yes, yes. My goodness. What is one thing you wish would change about education now that we've all talked about this? What's in your perfect world, what would it look like?
Implementing a course in schools so kids can go through the school system and understand the importance of their brain, because I feel like it's so brushed under the table when you're learning in school, and it's like school is non-negotiable. Everybody's got to go through it. You just do it. And why are we not educating kids from a young age about how important and special and powerful their brains are? I'm like, if, because then it's like, as you grow up, then because you're like, oh, I learned this at one point in school, and like that stuck with me. And that's why my whole family wears, it's like somebody could be like, that's why my whole family wears helmets. And that's
Yeah.
why we have healthy habits in our house. And all of these things is like, yeah, people understanding that their brain health is their mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a snowboarder, did you ever get any kind of education on the potential of concussion?
No, no, nothing.
That
Like,
super surprises me.
It's it's hard because action sports in particular, the 1% have the support of the national team and all of those amazing resources, but everybody climbing the ladder doesn't have access to that.
Mm.
So you're just not given those resources. So it's like, again, if there was a place for us to learn that growing up, maybe I would have taken my head hits more seriously.
I'm assuming you always had a helmet on.
Well, that's the thing as well. I did when I competed and when I was training, but the helmet that I was wearing was probably 10 years old and it was a skateboard helmet. So it wasn't even made for my sport.
Yeah.
And that was also part of the problem is I was like, wow, we're not educated about helmet safety. We don't know how to fit helmets. People don't know when to replace helmets. Like there's so much also just not talked about in the helmet space.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned you guys do the helmet checks. What are you looking for in that helmet check then?
Pretty much dents, instabilities, fractures, because that all really takes from the quality and technology of the helmet. So, yeah, we've been doing that. And now it's like, yeah, we just try to, when we donate the helmets, we fit them for the kids when we're there in person, because a lot of parents also have no idea how to fit a helmet. And so it's like we try to make sure that the athletes are safe. And then when we donate them, we're just like, this is how you fit a helmet.
That's awesome too.
Hmm.
Have you heard of the Virginia Tech Helmet Rating Lab?
I actually interviewed the program director on our
Yeah.
podcast, Barry
Yeah.
Miller. He's
Yep.
amazing.
I had him on here too.
Yeah, he's so great, and it is so cool to see what they're doing there, but again, people don't know that that even exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to research so deeply to find that they're doing stuff like that, and even still, there's a lot of helmets that don't enter that program, so you
Yeah.
have no idea how they are rated, and also a whole thing to understand. Like, I feel like I interviewed him, and I was like, "Wait, do I understand what they do?" I was like, "Hang on, like, that." I was like, wait a second, like what they're doing there is also complex.
Yeah.
And it just makes you question helmet safety
Yeah.
because if some helmets aren't going through that program, you're just kind of like, I don't know, like I called it, it's like the Michelin star of helmets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Pretty much.
but yeah, and they're what they're doing there is so cool. And I want more people to know about it.
Yeah. I tell my patients about it now. I actually learned about it through a mountain biking YouTuber.
Amazing.
So Seth from Burn Peak has a whole mountain biking thing, and he had Dr. Miller and went to the lab actually. So if you want to kind of see what it looks like without necessarily going there, they like toured in the lab. So they got to see how they tested the helmets and everything.
Whoa.
So that's where I initially saw it. And then I got on my little computer and I'm like, Dr. Miller, will you come join me? Because it was super cool to see all of that stuff.
Yeah. It's insane, and it's again, these people have dedicated their life
Yeah.
and their time to, like, preventing brain injuries and just saving people, and it's so cool to see that side.
Yeah. Yeah. And, years ago, I would never have thought that a skateboarding helmet couldn't be used for snowboarding either because it's both board sports.
You know? Same. Same here. It's like, the more I look back on my injury, yeah, like, there's just so many red flags of, like,
Right.
getting to the point that it was really bad, and I feel like I learned so much from it, and I was just like, "You know what? Like, I'm an anomaly. Like, I'm so
Mhm.
lucky. Like, I should not be here, and now I want to take my second chance and help people." So,
Mhm.
I feel like it's gotten me to here.
It's a great mission. That's for sure.
Thank you.
What is the most surprising thing that you've learned in your recovery?
Surprising thing. I mean, I feel like it just goes back to what I said before of like how incredible and powerful our brain is. Like, I feel like
Mm.
through my whole journey of like reflecting even back on the 10 years, like it's just so cool how you can just rewire like neuroplasticity and how you can rewire your brain and even just like rewiring your thoughts to be positive versus negative. Like, we are so in control of like our like mindset. And I feel like that was the most surprising thing to me was being like, whoa, this is powerful. This is really cool. Again, it's a lot of work to do that, but it's really awesome to see that we have that choice.
We have a whole lot more power than we realize at any given
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And I love that you learned the things that you did. I don't love how you learn them. Kind of like the same way that I learned the things that I did. I don't love how I learned them, but I've had several conversations with people and said, I don't think I would have learned it any other way,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
No.
because nobody was gonna teach me those things without having to go through the experience myself.
For sure. I mean, I say unless you have gone through it personally or somebody who you love has gone through it, you do not see the effects or the gravity that it holds on someone.
Yeah.
And that's for me, I'm like, it's concussions are the number one injury in the world. And again, everybody has a brain. And like, if we can just not have to learn by getting to that point, that would be incredible. But yeah, like there was no way I was gonna learn unless I went through what I went through.
Yeah. Yeah. What gives you hope moving forward?
People understanding that their brain health is their mental health. I feel like society as a whole is starting to just be more awake
Mhm.
to that correlation. And it's cool to see people understanding it and also implementing healthy habits to better their brain health.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. And I think once you have a brain injury, you become a little bit more aware of your own body.
Mhm.
Did you find that as
Yeah.
you're kinda going through too?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as an athlete, I was already kind of in that mindset of I mean, kinda like my body is a temple, but
Uh-huh.
I never thought that my brain was a part of that temple equation. And yeah, it's like I definitely learned that that is part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I can see that. You kinda work on your body all the time to make sure that you're stable, but you don't think about the part inside the brain that's the part that's keeping you stable.
Yeah. I feel like now I view the human body as like an F1 car. I'm like,
Mhm.
it takes a whole team of researchers to build that car to get it to where they want it. And then the driver, like there's like so many people that go into that. And I'm like, you always look under the hood, you change the tires, you change the oil. I'm like, that's like essentially the human body. I'm like, we have to tend to it. We can't just ignore these things because over time it will get worse. And it's
Yeah.
like the race car wouldn't perform well if it wasn't being worked on and doing these things.
Right. Well, and if you think along that line, those racers get to know their car. So if it's got some kind of funny feel, there's a vibration or something, they know what's going on with it.
Yeah.
You were talking about how you now know that if you get a migraine, something's going on, and you can
Mhm.
kind of tell what you're doing with there. And I see that over and over with my patients as well and myself. Like we tend to be better at listening to those vibrations and
Yeah.
identifying what's going on and saying, "Hey, there's something going on here. I got to stop and take a peek at it."
Mhm. And it's hard because I feel like a lot of people won't understand you
Mhm.
when you're recovering from your brain injury because they can't see that you're hurt. It's not
Yeah.
like you're limping on a ACL injury. So it takes a lot of power for you and strength for you to be like, I actually can't do this right now because I'm feeling this way. And that has been also hard for me to learn is like not feeling judged by doing what's best for me
Mhm.
because that's the social aspect is also wrapped up in that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a very invisible injury. People can't see it. They don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. And I always said initially after mine that I wish I would have broken a bone or something because for one, there was a timeline for it getting better, and for two,
Yeah.
people would have seen the cast, so they would have identified that something was wrong too. So now I like force the visual. I have my shirt on that says "traumatic brain injury, 1 star, would not recommend," and
It's true.
I have another one that says, "I have a brain injury. What's your excuse?" So
Yeah. It's a whole thing. I mean, I've again, a lot of people struggle with that aspect of it. It's like I don't really go to concerts because it hurts my head, and again, I don't drink alcohol because it hurts my head. Like, there's a lot
Mhm.
of things that, like, you have to choose to make a change on because it betters yourself, and
Yeah,
people will judge you, but the people who are there for you will support you and understand you, and that's part of it is through the growth of it, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, wrapping up our time here, do you have
Mhm.
any projects you'd like to share with the listeners? Things coming up that they should know about?
I mean, I feel like the marathon was my focus
Yeah.
for
I was gonna ask that's what I was gonna ask you about too.
6 months.
Yep.
Like,
So you
yeah,
came to
it's
Minnesota, ran grandma's marathon. You did the full marathon or half?
the full.
Oh my god. So that's why I jumped on having you come on here initially because we had that connection. I'm like, I can use that connection to get you on my show. It was training for the full marathon when my accident
Okay.
happened.
Oh, wow.
I had done the half marathon twice, once during COVID, so we did it virtually, and then once up in Duluth. And I was training for the full when my accident happened, so I never have gotten to my full
Oh,
marathon. But how was that experience for you?
character building. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a runner, but for some reason, I had doctors tell me in the beginning of my recovery that cardio would not be in my future because of my brain
Mhm.
injury. And I believed them for so long until I feel like I've been thinking about it for about 3 years. I ran one half and I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I signed up for grandma's. I had a good group of people running it. So I felt very supported, but I had no idea what I was actually embarking on. Like, it's 6 months of training and the recovery and nutrition, and, like, it's a whole thing that nobody talks about. They're
Yeah.
like, "Run the marathon, it'd be so great." And I'm like, "Yeah, like, it feels really good to cross that finish line," but getting there, you're learning a lot, and my brain injury was very loud in my training because I started getting migraines once I got into my long distance running because my nervous system
Mhm.
was almost overloaded, so I felt like I couldn't get out of fight or flight after my long runs, and I couldn't eat enough. My brain would get, like, shut down and get head pain. Like, I dealt with, like, a lot of adversity because of it, but looking back at it, like, I didn't even think I was capable of doing something like that, and once I was there and, like, we started running, I was like, "I'm sorry, wait, what am I doing?" Like, I was like, "I'm running how far right now?" Like, it just was like, it still doesn't feel real, but it was super cool, and I just kept being like, "This is for a cause bigger than myself." Like, we fundraised money to donate helmets to children in need, so we raised about $10,000 to go back
Awesome.
into the Duluth community, which is so cool, and yeah, I just kept being like, "You know what? Like, be the example that you wish that you had," because when you think about somebody with a traumatic brain injury, you think your life is over, and you don't see people doing things like that. So I was just like, "This is for someone and a cause that's bigger than yourself." And yeah, I ended up running most of the thing, which is nuts. And I crossed the finish line and was like, that was, I just laughed because I was like, what just happened? Like, I just feel like I left my body at one point, and at mile 20, my body started shutting down and my head hurt, and that's when I really was, like, faced with the challenge of making it across the finish line. So, it's super cool, and yeah, I think, like, projects in the future as well, it's like Save a Brain getting in with marathons because I want people to, even if it's a 5K, to, like, cross that finish line after a brain injury because we are bigger than our brain injuries.
Yes.
So we're looking ahead at doing that because it was such a powerful thing to, like, run for a cause. So I did
Mhm.
it. I'm sure I'll do another one in my life, it's sounding like. But yeah, it was very character building.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet. Well, now you're inspiring me to try it again. So maybe we'll have to run together sometime.
Oh my gosh, yeah, well, that's it. I'm like, it's the power of community, and think I just, like, I learned that through Save a Brain, but I feel like learning that through the marathon, it was super cool, and I felt like it brought everything full circle for me of why I'm here, of the work that we're doing, why it's important to be here and take up space. Like, I just feel like everything was there, and it was such a beautiful thing to see. I was just like, "Wow, that was really cool. I can't believe I just did that."
That's
And
awesome.
even now, I feel like once a day, I'm like, "We ran a marathon." Like, what in the world? Because you just kinda keep going on about your life, like, every day, you're just like, "Okay." And I'm
To
like,
do.
"Wait,
Yeah.
that was wild." So, yeah, it's been cool, and I feel like even just, like, all of the time and energy that you put into the training, like, you are going to bat with yourself mentally.
Mhm.
And it was cool for me to just, like, challenge all of these beliefs about myself that I thought I was a failure, that I didn't think I was capable or worthy, and all of these things. Like, I feel like I fully had to face them when I was running.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you do it all when you're recovering from the brain injury. That's a
Mhm.
marathon in itself, and then to run
Yes.
an actual marathon and, like, relive all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super emotional. There were so many tears before and, like, every week and, like, the behind these again, people see me crossing the finish line, but there was a lot of work
Yeah.
mentally and physically to get across that, and I'm very happy that I did it because obviously I feel like my intuition for years was like, "Do this,
Mhm.
do this."
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Oh,
we'll
that's
have to
awesome.
we'll have to run another one. And yeah, the more I feel like I did that and like faced myself, like I'm excited about the work that we have going on with Save a Brain. And I feel like it just really, really showed me how important our work is.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so awesome. So where can people find you if they want to learn more about Save a Brain, you, your story, what else going on?
Yeah, I feel like our Instagram, so just like at Kelsey Boyer at Save a Brain, our
Mhm.
website, saveabraininc.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. We're always keeping people up to date with that. But everything right now, I feel like, yeah, you'll find on the website. And we do have a lot of cool things in the works that I am excited to come to life. So everybody should just follow along.
Awesome. Awesome. I will put those links in the show notes so people can find them and hopefully not be writing while they're driving.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
do not. We don't love
we don't want
that.
any,
We don't.
no.
We're all about safety here.
Heck yeah, we are. So as we wrap up, any last words of wisdom you want to share with the listeners?
Taking it back to the bio is that we only get one brain. It makes us who we are. So I hope this plants a seed in your brain to nurture and water and plant good seeds in what we give our brain and tell ourselves.
Yeah, I like that full circle. Awesome. Thanks so much for being here today, Kelsey.
Yeah, thank you for having me. We could chat for hours, you know?
I believe that we could. Yes. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Brain Wellness, the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share it so that others can benefit. Please also consider supporting the show by buying me a coffee. The link is in the show notes. You can also go to www.brainwellnesssolutions.com to catch the latest info and get links on all of the social medias there. See you next time.